India is considered one of the oldest civilizations, with settlements dating back over 11,000 years. It is also home to several of the oldest records of ancient technologies. Ancient Sanskrit texts dating back as far as 6000 BC describe in varying but vivid detail flying machines called Vimanas.
Vimanas are aeroplanes, and they are powered by some jet engines. This seems to be true because all the description of the flight behavior, elephants ran away in panic. Grass was thrown out because there was a lot of pressure from behind those Vimanas, so that we can say this is a description of the spaceship.
Although mainstream historians believe the Vimana texts are myths, many of the documents contain passages that seem to describe modern machinery and technology.
The Vimana Science goes into metals that are used in these crafts. It talks about electricity and power sources. It talks about the pilots and the clothing they have to wear. It talks about the food that they eat. It talks even about the weapons that are kept on these airships.
The flight manuals of the Vimanas are quite similar to the flight manuals you find in the modern passenger flight business, or when you go to the military jet engines. Of course, they have also flight manuals because it's necessary for a pilot to get knowledge about his plane he wanted to fly with.
We also learned that these Vimanas could be controlled mentally. And this is a technology that modern militaries are beginning to develop.
The Vimana Shastra, or science of aeronautics, indicates Vimanas used a propulsion system based on a combination of gyroscopes, electricity, and mercury. Is this possible?
Mercury is an unusual element. Mercury is metal. It's also a liquid, and it's a conductor of electricity. Now, there's unusual things you can do with mercury. You can put it into a closed gyroscopic device with mercury spinning around, and then you can electrify it. And studies have been done on this by NASA and by other scientists. And they find that you have levitation effects, anti-gravity kind of effects, and a spinning bright light is part of it too.
The Vimana Shastra suggests Vimanas were powered by several gyroscopes placed inside a sealed liquid mercury vortex.
The issue of how are these civilizations traveling faster than the speed of light is a fundamental question. It's a scientific application of things that have been studied for thousands of years, and they're within the Vedas, the ancient Vedic teachings or other ancient teachings, and it is there.
But if Vimanas existed, could this prove there was a worldwide transportation network thousands of years before Columbus?
In the Bhagavad Purana, which is an ancient Sanskrit history, there is a description of a spacecraft that was piloted by a king named Shalva. It's described that it was made of metal. It was described that it sometimes appeared to be in two places at once. It was described as having a motion similar to that of a butterfly. And these descriptions are consistent with what people who observe UFOs today report.
In other Sanskrit texts, such as the Mahabharata, the Rig Veda, and the Ramayana, there can be found descriptions of Vimana measuring as wide as 100 feet, and often equipped with the capabilities of modern aircraft. One Vimana produced a shaft of light, which when focused on a target, consumed it with its power.
It's like a Buck Rogers or Flash Gordon movie from the 30s. They read like the wildest science fiction. People are flying around in airships called Vimanas, blasting each other and having aerial fights, destroying entire cities.
And the crazy thing is that all of those stories are totally accepted in the modern society of India.
I don't think we can say that these descriptions are simply imagination, because even though they were written thousands of years ago, they match what many people today report in terms of observing the actions of UFOs.
Were they just mythological tales that they're making up, fantasy? Or these physical, real events, and they're trying to describe them as the best that they could? That seems to make more sense to me.
There are some reports that such fields of fused sand, of glass, have been found in places including India. But if they do exist, this would confirm the descriptions given in the ancient Sanskrit writings that the people of those times had weapons resembling our modern nuclear weapons. They were called Brahmastras.
According to the Hindu text, the Brahmastras came from God. But who were these supernatural beings?